Good morning and welcome to All Souls Unitarian Universalist Church of Belleville. For our online service today, I'm Kristen and I'm going to lead you. We do have a few announcements. Please remember that the church is still taking pledges. If you have not made your pledge or just forgot, you can still send those in. Also, though we are far apart, if you have pastoral care needs, contact Reverend Will Humphrey at 740-263-1171 or email to will.allsouls@gmail.com. Our birthdays this week include for December 17th, Art O'Leary and Mel Wagner. So happy birthday, guys. Let us prepare for this day, open our hearts and minds, and begin with Shelley's prelude, My Dreidel. At this time, I invite you to light a candle in your place of worship as we open the service with words of Barbara Wells. O spinner, weaver of our lives, your loom is love. May we, who are gathered here, be empowered by that love to weave new patterns of truth and justice into the web of life that is strong, beautiful, and everlasting. We'd now like to take a moment for you to share your joys and concerns. Please type a message in the text box for all to see and respond to. So we light a candle for all those joys that we share today and all those concerns as well. Our affirmation today comes from Leonard Mason. We affirm the unfailing renewal of life. Rising from the earth and reaching for the sun, all living creatures shall fulfill themselves. We affirm the steady growth of human companionship, rising from ancient cradles and reaching for the stars. People the world over shall seek the ways of understanding. We affirm a continuing hope that out of every tragedy, the spirits of individuals shall rise to build a better world. We'll now take a moment for our offertory. Remember that if you would like to pledge or donate to All Souls electronically, you may download the Tithely app available for both Android and iPhone. Use the link scrolling below to find out more. The offering is accepted in grateful appreciation so that we may continue the good work of our church in our community and the world at large. Our offertory hymn is Bring a Torch, Jeanette Isabella. I should start that over again, I think. So our meditation today is a reminder that practice is helpful even if you're not very good at it. A Blessing for Risk Takers and Failures by Robin Tanner struck a chord with me, and I wanted to share it with you too. Blessed are they who fall in the mud, who jump with gusto and rip the pants, who skin the elbows and bruise the ego, for they shall know the sweetness of risk. Blessed are they who make giant mistakes, whose intentions are good, but impact has injured, who know the hot sense of regret and ask for mercy, for their hearts will know the gift of forgiveness. Blessed are they who have seen a D or an F or a C or any letter less than perfect, who are painfully familiar with the red pen and the labels as less than, for they will know the wisdom in the imperfect. Blessed are they who try again, who dust off, who wash up, who extend the wish for peace, who return to sites of failure, who are dogged in their pursuit, for they will discover the secret to dreams. Blessed are they who refuse to listen to the naysayers, for their hearts will be houses of hope. Blessed are they who see beyond the surface of another, for they will be able to delight in the gift of compassion. Blessed are they who stop running the race to help a fellow traveler, who pick up the fallen, who stop for injured life, for they shall know the kindness of strangers. Blessed are they who wildly, boldly abandon winning, for they shall know the path of justice. Brian is our speaker today, and he will explore how to find contentment by trusting in the perfection and harmony of the Tao. He will explain that by understanding that the Tao is working for you and with you, you needn't remind it of what you crave or what you think it has forgotten on your behalf.
Good morning. So that's right, my talk this morning is called Living with Contentment. And maybe that sounds crazy. Maybe you're thinking that, where have I been all 2020 in a cave, living with contentment in 2020? I can imagine that might come off as a strange or even a funny statement. And funny because 2020 sure has been the butt of a lot of jokes. We've all seen numerous memes on Facebook about 2020. You know, like, if 2020 was an ice cream flavor, it would be frozen dirty road slush. If 2020 was a pizza, it would have bananas, eggs, herring, and pineapple. If 2020 was a slide, it would start out at a 45-degree angle and abruptly drop you to at a 90-degree. Or if people from 2020 were on the Titanic, we could hear them say, "You can't make me wear a life vest." Then there's 2020 in one picture. Right lane ends, left lane closed. We'll wake up every morning in 2020 and be like, let's see, where were we? Ah, yes, in the pit of despair. And then there's a picture of someone who looks like Brad Pitt at the beginning of 2020, and then Keith Richards at the end. So right, for many, the struggle was real, like being at the grocery store and trying to get that plastic bag open without anyone seeing you lick your fingers under the mask. But seriously, 2020 came with some great adversity. So being able to laugh and make some jokes is a good thing. Keeping a sense of humor and being able to laugh in the midst of adversity is not only good, but healthy. But yet you'd still have to be pretty historically illiterate to think 2020 was the worst year ever. But for many people, 2020 was the worst year ever for them. They lost loved ones, jobs, businesses, their health. They were isolated, lonely, depressed, and scared. Of course, we'll all remember the year of COVID-19, the year of shutdowns, isolation, toilet paper shortages, masks, politics, and fear. But let's move forward with living with contentment. Let's start by looking at what not to do to acquire contentment. That would be focusing on obtaining more objects of desire. It only encourages external factors to have control over us. Pursuits of status, be it monetary or a position of power, blinds us to our relationship to the eternal Tao, along with the contented life that is available. Contentment. How do we get it? It is said that you can never be happy as long as one other person is suffering. Is that true? Is contentment the same as being happy, joyful, or grateful? 2020 was a good year for me. For one, it made me feel blessed and grateful. In isolation, I still had food, drinks, companionship, intimacy, a job. I had basically everything except a haircut. I learned that I could be very happy in a simplified world instead of a world with too much on my plate and constant anxiety about keeping up with life. And I also learned to have compassion and empathy for those who lacked such basic needs. Also, because of the circumstances created by 2020, I personally accomplished more projects in 2020 than the last 20 years combined. And I'm thinking many of you have as well. But that alone brought me much satisfaction, along with the 2020 election results, to say the least. But that's me personally, and still does not define contentment. And of course, anybody who knows me or has heard me speak before knows I will take this straight to the Tao Te Ching for the answers. The third verse, to be exact. So I ask you please listen to what the third verse advises. Putting a value on status will create contentiousness. If you overvalue possessions, people begin to steal. By not displaying what is desirable, you will cause the people's hearts to remain undisturbed. The sage governs by emptying minds and hearts, by weakening ambitions and strengthening bones. Practice not doing. When action is pure and selfless, everything settles into its own perfect place. So overvaluing possessions and accomplishments stems from our ego's fixation on getting more. More wealth, belongings, status, power, or the like. The Tao recommends refraining from this kind of discontent way of life, which leads to thievery, contentiousness, and confusion. Rather than seeking more, the Tao practice of gratitude is what leads us to a contented life. We must replace personal desire with the Tao-centered question, how may I serve? By simply changing these kinds of thoughts, we will begin to see major changes taking place in our lives. So one thing for sure that we can agree on, in order to achieve contentment, we definitely have to avoid contentiousness. We have to let go and let God. Let go of perceived control and strength. Let go of entitlement. Let go of worry. And from every teaching, whether it be from Christianity, Buddhism, or A Course in Miracles, let go of your ego. And to quote Ralph Waldo Emerson, adapt the pace of nature. Her secret is patience. So just as important as gratitude is patience. How may I serve? Lao Tzu says, the doors don't open while we have attachment to physical things for ourselves. What he calls the angelic guides or source energy doesn't enter our lives until we take focus off what's in it for me, or what kind of job am I going to get, or how much money am I going to make, and instead focus on how may I serve. Practice not doing. Well, that sounds pretty unproductive, doesn't it? The advice to practice not doing and trusting that all will settle into a perfect place may sound like a prescription for laziness and a failed society. But yet I don't think that's what Lao Tzu is offering here. He isn't saying to be slothful or inactive. Rather, he's suggesting that trusting in the Tao is the way to be directed by the source of your creation and to be guided by a higher principle than your ego-driven desires. A labor of love may be in order here. Ego-fixated wants can get in the way of divine essence. So practice getting ego out of the way and be guided by the Tao in all that you do. In a state of frenzy, trust in the Tao. Listen for what urges you onward, free from ego domination, and you'll paradoxically be more productive. Allow what's within to come forward by suspending worldly determination. In this way, it'll no longer be just you who is conducting this orchestration that you call your life. Remind yourself daily that there is no way to happiness. Rather, happiness is the way. There is no way to happiness. Rather, happiness is the way. Now, that certainly would lead to living with contentment. Is that too obvious? Is that too hard to achieve in today's world? Or how about create a life that you don't have to take a vacation from? I honestly don't know that I can tell you how to do that, or that even means never taking a vacation. But I would like to offer you to think about these things. Happiness is the way. Create a life you don't have to take a vacation from. That does sound like contentment. But more importantly, focus on trusting your own essential sageness. Don't let desires obscure your eternal connection to the Tao. So let's go back and revisit that last verse. Practice not doing. When action is pure and selfless, everything settles into its own perfect place. When action is pure and selfless, everything settles into its own perfect place. Now I'm going to read a poem. It's written by Henry David Thoreau from the middle of the 19th century. Let us spend one day as deliberately as nature and not be thrown off the tracks by every nutshell and mosquito's wing that falls on the rails. If the engine whistles, let it whistle till it is hoarse for its pains. If the bell rings, why should we run? I have always been regretting that I was not as wise as the day I was born. Practice doing the Tao in everyday situations, and you'll know contentment in a deeper sense. As the verse says, when action is pure and selfless, everything settles into its own perfect place. Now that's my definition of contentment. In my home, I have these words framed and hung on my wall. It's from the Da Di Ching, and they say, how can a man's life keep its course if he will not let it flow? Go with the flow. Let go and let God. Remind yourself daily that there is no way to happiness, but rather, happiness is the way. Create a life you don't have to take a vacation from. And remember, as a Unitarian Universalist, you have found the greatest path of spirituality and fellowship that lies in our undisputed 7 principles, a living tradition we share that draws from many sources. This in itself has brought me personally much contentment in my spirituality. Wish upon a star, they said, and all your dreams will come true. Any star, I asked, they smiled. Yes, any star will do. And so it is we find ourselves under the beautiful night sky, staring into the endless galaxies and finding just the right star to wish upon. Without knowing that the star is 137 light years away. And sometimes that's how it is with contentment. We find ourselves focused on a star that is 137 light years away without even realizing that our own sun is a star and its light is only 8 minutes away. So I'll wrap this up with this. You may have a long list of goals that you believe will provide you with contentment when they're achieved. Yet if you examine your state of happiness in this moment, you'll notice that the fulfillment of some of the previous ambitions didn't create an enduring sense of joy. Desires can produce anxiety, stress, and competitiveness, and you need to recognize those that do. Bring happiness to every encounter in life. Instead of expecting external events to produce joy, by staying in harmony on the path of the Tao, all the contentment you could ever dream of will begin to flow into your life. The right people, the means to finance where you're headed, and the necessary factors will come together. Stop pushing yourself, Lao Tzu would say, and feel gratitude and awe for what is. Your life is controlled by something far bigger and more significant than the petty details of your lofty aspirations. Anytime I give a talk like this or read the Tao, I cannot help but to think of the words of Obi-Wan Kenobi as he explains the Force to Luke in Episode 4, A New Hope. He says, the Force is what gives a Jedi his power. It's an energy field created by all living things. It surrounds us and penetrates us. It binds the galaxy together. And then from Yoda, for my ally is the Force, and a powerful ally it is. Life creates it, makes it grow. Its energy surrounds us and binds us. Luminous beings are we, not this crude matter. So in conclusion, I ask you to inventory your desires and turn them over to the unnameable. Yes, turn them over and then do nothing but trust. At the same time, listen and watch for guidance and connect yourself to the perfect energy that sends whatever is necessary into your life. You, meaning your ego, don't need to do anything. Instead, allow the internal perfection of the Tao to work through you. This is Lao Tzu's message for our world now. Please join us next Sunday. Christopher Reynolds will be our speaker, and we will learn how to celebrate solstice when we live in a galaxy, a sacred fire, and solar plasma. After the service, Chris and myself will host a sacred fire ceremony at my property. This will be done as a small groups gathering with masks and social distancing. This will probably be the safest ceremony you can attend. It's going to be a very large fire and over 40 acres of social distancing. So watch the Facebook page, watch your email. There will be information coming out about this. I will be sending out an event here later this afternoon. One thing I would like you to think about, if you'd like to come to the fire, I want you to think about taking a piece of paper and writing down what you would like the universe to bring more of in 2021. Or you can also write what you would like the universe to take away from your life in 2021. These messages will be placed in this sacred fire and sent out. If you can't make it to the fire, if you can find a way to get me the message, I'll make sure it gets into the fire. But watch for that event. That's going to be next Sunday. I want to thank everyone for tuning in this morning and being with us on our live Zoom Facebook service. Peace, love, and namaste, and to all, and happy holidays. I'd like you to stay tuned for an original song performed by Dow Bridge that has a message to go with today's talk. And the song is called Just for Today.
Staring at the moon again, I'm alone with my best friend, looking for something that I just can't see. Thinking about the place I need to be. Well, here I am, that's okay. This is where I'm gonna stay. This is where I'll stay just for today. Does your life sound like a country song? And do you need your enemies to make you strong? Jump off the mountain, there's too much strife. But it's the sides of the mountain that sustain life. Lighten up and seek the power of now. Calm your mind and let your spirit show you how. Now what you see is what you get. Don't you know you're gonna pay for it? You live your life, you live it long. You don't wanna say, I wish I wrote that song. Plastic Virgin Mary and a cross of ashes saved you in the last three crashes. you think there's somewhere better to be. Boredom is the mother of creativity. There are no mysteries, just amazing reality. What good does it do to put your dreams on a shelf? Let me tell you now, never should on yourself. Staring at the moon again, I'm alone with my best friend, looking for something that I just can't see. Thinking about the place I need to be. Now what you see is what you get. Don't you know you're gonna pay for it? And here I am, that's okay. This is where I'm gonna stay. This is where I'll stay just for today. Staring at the moon again, I'm alone with my best friend, looking for something that I just can't see. Thinking about the place I need to be. So live your life, you live it long. You don't want to say, I wish I wrote that song. And here I am, that's okay. This is where I'm gonna stay. This is where I'll stay just for today. Just for today. Just for today.
We close the service and extinguish the chalice with these words from Theodore Parker. Be ours a religion which, like sunshine, goes everywhere. Its temple, all space. Its shrine, the good heart. Its creed, all truth. Its ritual, works of love. Its profession of faith, divine living. Please stay with us and listen to our postlude.